Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to day 3 of the Web for Development Conference. It's good to see so many familiar faces. Normally on day 3, we just have some stragglers, and it seems like today we have a big forum. We're back together again after having followed the 3 different tracks. First of all, just wanted to say thanks to everyone at UNICEF who helped organize this conference this year. I think it's been a great addition, and we see a lot of new faces, feel a lot of new energy coming around from all the different workshops. We had a huge amount of presentations. It's very difficult to try to find a way to weave that all together. I think we'll be figuring out how to do that on the wiki and on the shared workspaces in the coming weeks. Today we have a very ambitious agenda. I didn't introduce myself, for those of you who don't know. I'm Stephen Roberts, I'm from UNESCO. And we have a lot of ground to cover in about 2 hours and 10 minutes, so I'm going to jump right into it. We have 3 or 4 presentations, and then we'll have a bit of a coffee break if we have time. And afterwards, we have 2 panel discussions, one on UN partnerships and another on the future of the community. So I think that one will be key in sort of mapping a way forward for us to be able to continue to work together until next year's conference and plan next year's conference as well. So let's get down to it. I would like to introduce Mr. Gabriel Lacasina, the Director of the Knowledge Management Division at the UNDP. He's going to present a knowledge management tool for the extranet. And here we go.
Thank you, Stephen. And I also want to thank UNICEF for organizing this event. I hope you're caffeinated enough today to start this long day, as Stephen described. We have very little time, so let me put you first into the context. I manage the knowledge management group at UNDP. We're coming from a situation within our organization in which we have, for many years, we have worked with our communities of practice, which now, just to give you an order of magnitude, have about 130,000 members. And so there are many, almost 200 of them, with thousands of users. And of those users, a few the ratio is about 30,000 UNDP users and 100,000 external users, our clients, our counterparts, many working within other organizations, academia, etc. So we're coming from almost 10 years of very good experience of managing these large communities and really benefiting from the electronic networks that are created. We basically use email lists. That's what we've been using for quite a while now. We also have a number of websites, a number of databases, a fairly complex array of solutions and tools to do things with. So at one point we looked at how we were operating, and we found that most of our communities based on email really didn't define very well who the users are, what are their offerings, what are their faces really. All we knew was an email address attached to that. Many weren't interested anymore, so our lists were somehow active to a smaller extent than we thought. And what we did was to come up with a concept of a platform which is entirely based on Web 2.0 concepts, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. If you think about Facebook, that's one example. And integrating some of our knowledge management requirements in there, some degree of content management, for instance. And the idea of this is to ensure that our client-facing staff within the organization can benefit from the same type of information that everybody has it available. Today, again, we do not have a knowledge management layer across a number of different areas that are important to us. Let me mention 3 pillars for what we are doing. One is the services that we offer to those that are in the field, to our country offices. 2 are the projects that we do, and we have about 6,000 new projects every year. And the third component is human resources. We have either staff, obviously works within the organization, but we hire a number of experts, consultants, etc. But we tend to lose the benefit of their work once they leave or they move on. So there are a number of concepts here of legacy, of of understanding better what is that we do as from the operation viewpoint, and also what are the services that we offer. So when we came up with the concept of TeamWorks, which you'll see here, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour, we looked at, I don't know if you can read this, but these are all our practices: democratic governance, poverty, HIV/AIDS, environment and energy, etc. And for each of these practices, we defined some service areas. And this is where basically we're starting our tour of the system. What we're doing here is to establish this is basically a blog. There is no more than that in this. And it's divided in 3 sections. On one side, on the left side, you have links to either what we know from the institutional viewpoint, so our quality assured content, so to speak. So for this specific area, which is electoral systems, you can go down to policies, for instance, and you have a good idea what our policies are, who's the author, when they were updated. And also you have the capacity to provide some feedback to the organization about the usability of, or the applicability of the document to your work. We also have sections for frequently asked questions for internal products that don't go through quality assurance steps, but they are, for instance, speeches or PowerPoint presentations, etc., that are important to the user. So we have basically here one container for contextualizing, which is a word that I use these days a lot, because basically it takes the content and puts it into a context. And that is one of the things that we are missing today within our organization. We have a number of documents, but they are not attached to either the person or the project or the specific service that created them in first place. Contextualizing is the key to everything that I'm showing today. And also we have links for external resources. So the general area in this particular case, electoral systems, has a bucket, a container to provide this information for those that in the field need it, but also to define what the services that are offered in the particular area are. Here we offer different things in electoral systems according to which region is requesting them, and you will have a person, our policy advisor in this case, who manages that particular area. We have something like 90 service areas in our organization, so and an equivalent number of advisors attached to them. So the second part of the page, the center of the page, is what we have in terms of our electronic networks and communities of practice. So there you will see the dialogue in that community. And there are a couple of considerations there. Today, that dialogue goes only through email. Well, this might also not change. We can push everything into your inbox if that's necessary. But you will have also a way for those that are not members of the community to come in and take a look at what the content is. So this is important for a number of people: managers, people on mission, people that go around country offices or serve clients or have to prepare for a presentation, a speech, or simply want to understand what is that our work and our conversation is in that particular area. Also, the center part is where you can define, where you can present new projects, new activities that are coming in that specific contextual area. On the right side, you have now the community that is interested in that particular service. And for each community, you can define an advisor. That's the person that you ask expert advice to, but also experts and the community of practice that today we only have in form of email, and you cannot really see much beyond that email address. Now these are people, and their contributions are also important, because one of our functional requirements is that the more you contribute, the more your face emerges, so you know who the top contributors are to that particular community. Let's move. We have very little time, so I'm going to do this in a bit of a hurry. But in each area, we will have a number of projects. Again, as I said, we have more than 6,000 new projects every year. Some are done in partnership with other UN agencies, some are done in partnership with others. And here is, again, a way to contextualize the project to the specific area. So when you look for what is that we do in that area, you have that condensated and reported on that page. So you can drill down and look at one specific project. This is just a demo, so I'm going to just do a little bit of a fixed path through the system. Here we have the same offering We have links on the left side, and in this particular case, we do not have today a way to contextualize content and information to that specific project. So we have a system for the project document, a system of record for the official documentation related to the project. But if the project itself produces, much like this conference is producing a number of documents, etc., well, we don't really have a system to capture that. So here, again, you can go to the same steps, and now you have a container for the information or the activities that have the knowledge that has been generated through activities under the project, a workshop,